induction, propagation, chain transfer, and termination. There are two types of heat cured acrylic resin. Those are high impact and rapid heat polymerizing resin. Then we come to auto polymerizing resin or self-cure acrylic resin. So this is chemical activation. Okay, it's auto cure. You don't need external activator for this type of acrylic resin. Therefore, it can be completed at room temperature. As a result, chemically activated resins often are referred to as cold cure. It has different names. Okay, it can be called as cold cure, self cure, or auto polymerizing resin. Unlike heat cured acrylic resin, in heat cured acrylic resin, external heat had to be applied for the reaction to start and complete. But in auto polymerizing resin, you don't need to give any kind of heat or any kind of source of energy like light, heat, microwave, or different kinds of source. It is auto polymerizing. It cures itself. But it cures itself doesn't mean that you don't need to do anything. There is a chemical which acts as an activator, which is present in liquid, will act as an activator, and the chemical reaction will start. So composition, same like heat cured acrylic resin. So you can see the powder, what the powder contains, and the liquid. Most of the components are same with heat cured acrylic resin, but the difference is it has an activator present as a chemical that is called dimethyl paratoluene, which is present in liquid. So the advantage of this is it has greater dimensional accuracy due to reduced polymerization shrinkage, and disadvantage would be incomplete polymerization leading to greater amount of unreacted monomer in the denture base, causing decreased transfer strength and is potential tissue irritant. So the main disadvantage of self-cure acrylic resin is there is very less amount of polymerization, which will lead to decreased strength. The strength will be less. That's why for definitive restoration or for permanent prosthesis, we do not use self-cure acrylic resin. Uses of self-cure acrylic resin is limited to for the fabrication of temporary use only, like for making temporary denser base. Temporary denser base you make with self-cure acrylic resin, which is not to be used for long period of time. Other uses would be temporary crowns, temporary custom trays, for denture repair, orthodontic appliances, and for inlay and post patterns. Chemically activated denser-based resins are most often molded using compression techniques. Therefore, mold preparation and resin packing are essentially the same as those described for heat-activated denser-based resin, which we have not completed yet. We are going to study this later. Initial hardening of the resin generally occurs within 30 minutes, but polymerization continues for an extended period of time. Rest, you don't need to know much. Okay. So anyway, till now, we have just completed heat cure acrylic resin and self-cure acrylic resin. Okay. Heat cure acrylic resin, what all things you need to know? How the chemical reaction takes place. Okay. Main thing is how the chemical reaction it takes place. Those are your 4 stages: active in induction, propagation, chain transfer, and termination. These things you have to know. In addition to that, in heat cure acrylic resin and self cure acrylic resin, you have to know the chemical composition, use of the composition, the use of each and every component of the composition. How does it set? What is its advantages, disadvantages, uses? Why do you do that? Okay. After that, we come to manipulation technique for heat cure and cold cure resin or self cure acrylic resin. How to manipulate? How do you work with it? Okay, we have to know that. So we're going to discuss about manipulation technique for heat cure and self cure acrylic resin. First thing you need to do is, everyone knows heat cure and self cure acrylic resin has powder and liquid. Okay, powder contains some chemical, liquid contains some chemical, which when mixed together will start the chemical reaction. Okay. So first thing you do is proportioning and mixing. Okay. You have to take the powder and liquid, we have to measure. Later we're going to study how much powder is to be kept, how much liquid is to be kept. First liquid is placed, then powder is poured into it. Okay, then we mix it, and a dough is formed. Okay, dough is formed. That is how we manipulate. What is a powder liquid ratio or polymer monomer ratio? How we are going to the powder and liquid are mixed in a ratio of 3:1, which means 3 parts of polymer to 1 part of monomer. That means polymer is powder. If you keep 3 parts of powder, suppose if you have 3 milligram of powder, you're going to place 1 milligram of liquid you are supposed to place. Okay. This provides sufficient monomer to weight the polymer particles. That means the liquid, that much liquid, 1% of liquid is enough to weight the 3 parts of powder. After we mix the powder and liquid, okay, the ratio once you set, then we're going to start to manipulate. If increase or excess monomer is added, okay, monomer is supposed to be placed 1 part, and polymer, that is powder, is supposed to be placed 3 part. If you increase excess amount of monomer, then there will be excess of polymerization shrinkage. There is something called polymerization shrinkage. More amount of shrinkage will be there if more amount of liquid is placed. So polymerization shrinkage, when methyl methacrylate polymerizes, it shrinks 21% by volume. Okay, if your ratio is not correct, okay, if you don't follow the formula, that is 3:1, then what will happen? The polymerization shrinkage will reach up to 21%. Whereas if you place 3:1 ratio of the polymer and liquid, the shrinkage will decrease to 6 to 7%. And polymerization shrinkage is not a desirable property. It's an undesirable property, so we do not want polymerization shrinkage. It's not possible for us to have 0% of polymerization shrinkage, because this is one of the property which polymer has. So our target is to reduce the amount of shrinkage caused by the reaction. So if you place 3:1 ratio, the polymerization shrinkage will decrease up to 6 to 7%. A correctly heat processed denser base could have as little as 0.3% to 2% of residual monomer. Residual monomer means amount of methyl methacrylate which is unreacted, and this is also unwanted byproduct which we do not want. Okay, so if our processing, proportioning, everything is correct, the residual monomer can reach up to 0.3 to 2% only. Polymerization shrinkage creates contraction stresses, internal stresses, and deformation. Okay, these are the side effects of polymerization shrinkage. So polymer and monomer interaction. What happens when we mix the powder and liquid? That is, powder is polymer and liquid is monomer. Now we already know how much powder is to be kept and how much liquid is to be placed. That is 3:1. If we place 3 parts of polymer, 1 part of monomer is to be placed. You know the ratio. Okay. Now physically, what happens when powder and liquid is mixed? Chemically, you already know. Chemically, what will happen? Can anyone answer me? What will happen when powder and liquid is mixed? What chemical reaction would be there? Karuna? Karuna Sual,
Yes, sir.
what will happen chemically when powder and liquid is mixed?
The
If you don't know,
reaction
say
changes.
no, okay? Let's not waste time. Mamta,
Yes, sir.
Mamta, what will happen when powder and liquid is chemically? What will happen?
Polymerization reaction will occur.
Good. That is, there are 4 stages. Those are induction, right? Induction, activation, and initiation. All those steps will happen chemically. Okay. That is at chemical level. Okay. But physically, when you mix powder and liquid, physically, when you see, what will happen? There are 5 stages. Okay. Number 1 is sandy stage. Number 2, stringy stage. Number 3, dough stage, rubbery stage, and last one is stiff stage. Okay. When powder and liquid at chemical level, you already know there will be induction, propagation, chain transfer, and termination. That is chemical thing. Okay. But physically, when you see, when you do practicals, when you mix powder and liquid together, it will not form a hard mass. Okay. It will undergo different stages. When we immediately mix it, it will be in sandy stage. And we'll discuss each and every stage in detail. Sandy stage. Immediately after mixing powder and liquid, first stage you will see is we have a sandy stage. Okay. Like if you mix sand in water, what will happen? Will the sand melt like tea or coffee? When you mix coffee or sugar in water, it will get dissolved, right? But the sand does not, right? कस्तो देखिन्छ पानीमा बालु हाल्दा जस्तो देखिन्छ त्यस्तै नै when you mix liquid and powder initially for few seconds, it looks like a sandy stage. Okay, so there is no interaction in the molecular level. Polymer beads are unaltered, and the consistency of the mixture is coarse and grainy. Sand, when you mix with water, how it looks like that only. Okay, so there is no interaction at molecular level immediately when you mix these together. When you wait for some time, okay, what you can say is another stage you can see, and that is called stringy stage. The monomer attacks the surface of the polymer beads. Now the chemical reaction starts. Some polymer chains are dispersed in liquid monomer, increased viscosity due to uncoiling of the polymer chain, and characterized by stringiness and stickiness when touched. Okay, so when you wait for some time and you mix the polymer and liquid together, what will happen is if you try to pull it, a thread kind of thing will be seen. Okay, if you touch with your two hand, thumb and index finger, and if you try to pull it apart, what will happen? Strings or thread like things you can see, and this is called stringy stage. Then comes the dough stage. Dough stage is the most important stage for us because this is the stage where we are going to work. Okay, this is the workable stage of the mix. Have you started making temporary denser base? Have you used polymer and monomer in practicals? Did you make temporary denser base this batch?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so everyone has already used polymer and monomer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe you didn't, there are two techniques. One is sprinkle on technique and another is dough technique. Because maybe we have used the sprinkle on technique, right? for making the temporary denser base?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's why you would not see these stages. Later, when you make one or two temporary denser bases, when you get used to polymers and monomers, will allow you to follow DAW technique, which is, and when you start doing DAW technique, you'll eventually see all these stages and you can appreciate that better. Okay, so after stringy stage, when you wait for some time, again you have to wait for some time. Okay, after that DAW stage comes. In this stage, increased number of polymer chain enter solution, but undissolved polymers are still present. Clinically, mass is DAW-like, no sticky or tacky, and do not adhere to the walls of the container or spatula. At this stage, should be packed in the mold cavity. So this is the correct time when you're going to make any kind of prosthesis. Okay. First, in sandy stage, you're just going to mix it. When you reach the stringy stage, you just leave it. When you leave the mix, okay, you don't need to mix the mix when you reach stringy stage. After you reach the stringy stage, you cover the lid of the container and wait till you get the DAW stage. After you get the DAW stage, it can be taken out from the container easily and see the manipulation, the picture in the second picture. See, the DAW stage, the acrylic is not getting attached to the finger or the container anymore. Okay, and it's like clay. It looks like a clay and the texture is also like clay. You can give any shape to the mass. This DAW mass, you can give any shape. Okay, it's like DAW भनेको के हो त पानी र पिठो मिक्स गरिसकेपछि सुरुमा it's not workable. I don't know how many of you know, when you mix powder, piठो र पानी, when you mix, it will reach one stage and that is called DAW stage. And at that stage, you can give a shape, you can make a shape, anything. It's just like that. Okay. At this stage, you can give any shape to the mass. This is a workable stage. Okay. After this, what will happen? After the DAW stage is reached, after that, it will not be workable anymore. It will reach rubbery stage. Rubbery भनेको कस्तो हुन्छ त rubber कस्तो हुन्छ? It will be stiff. We can bend it. It's still not hard. Okay, we can bend it, but we cannot change its shape, unlike DAW stage. Okay, so after DAW stage, you reach rubbery stage. Dissipation of monomer by evaporation and further penetration into the remaining polymer bits. Clinically, mass rebounds on stretching. It is not moldable and does not flow at all. Okay, unlike your rubbery in your DAW stage, it is not workable anymore. Still, after DAW stage, it's not stiff anymore. First, we reach the rubbery stage, then only it becomes stiff and hard. Okay. Continued evaporation of the unreacted monomer. Clinically, the mixture is stiff and dry and is resistant to mechanical deformation. Once you reach stiff stage, it does not change shape. It becomes hard. Okay. And this is how your chemical reaction physically takes place. When you mix powder and liquid, it does not become hard immediately. It has 5 different stages. Okay, sandy, stringy, DAW, rubbery, and stiff stage. These are the physical stages of your polymer and monomer when mixed together. So DAW forming time is important for us because that is the time when we are going to work. Okay, suppose you're going to make a temporary denser base with DAW technique. Okay, immediately after mixing, you are not supposed to manipulate. We have to wait till stringy stage comes. Then after stringy stage, in stringy stage also, you are not going to work in stringy stage. Once it reaches the DAW stage, then only we are going to take it out and give a shape of your temporary denser base, and excess you can cut and remove. That is how you work. So DAW forming time is important. According to ATA specification number 12, For denture-based resins requires that this consistency be reached in less than 40 minutes from start of mixing time, and in clinical use it is achieved in less than 10 minutes. Okay, ideally what American Dental Association's ADA specification number has mentioned is that DAW forming time should not exceed 40 minutes. Okay, it should be less than 40 minutes. But practically, when you use your temporary your denture-based materials or polymethyl methacrylate, when you mix powder and liquid, you usually get this time within less than 10 minutes. That means the DAW stage is reached around at less than 10 minutes. It can be 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, anyways. Okay. When you mix the powder and liquid, spatulate it, then it reaches stringy stage, and DAW stage, it will reach up to 10 minutes. That's your DAW forming time. These questions might be asked you in MCQs. Right? So what is working time? Time that a denture base remains in a DAW-like stage. Okay, it is less than, it will be around 5 minutes. Okay, the difference between working time and DAW forming time is DAW forming time the time taken for the mixture to reach DAW stage. And the time till when the material remains as a DAW. It remains as a DAW is your working time. That is the time where you can work. You can give any shape, and you can cut the excess, you can manipulate anything. That is your working time, and that is your 5 minutes. So I've mentioned this already. Manipulation can be done in two ways. Okay, it can be sprinkle on technique and finger adapted DAW technique. Sprinkle on technique, the one which you did for making temporary denture base, and finger adapted DAW method means the one which I discussed. This is for the manipulation technique of chemically activated resins. Okay, these two. But for heat cure acrylic resin, sprinkle on technique cannot be done. Only you can use is finger adapted DAW technique. Okay, manipulation of heat cure acrylic resin. Remember this, right? This is very important. Heat cure acrylic resin can be manipulated by only one technique, that is finger adapted DAW method, and chemical activated resin can be manipulated with two techniques, that is sprinkle on technique and finger adapted DAW technique. So now fabrication of denture base can be done in two techniques. One is compression mold technique and another is injection mold technique. Just remember the name for now, right? Compression mold technique and injection mold technique. Remember these two names, right? Compression mold technique and injection mold technique. We'll be discussing about compression mold technique and injection mold technique in detail. Thoroughly we're going to discuss. Okay, for now, just remember the names: compression mold technique and injection mold technique. Okay. Before going to this topic, I'll be discussing each and every steps that's of fabrication of complete denture in detail, so that you will have an idea what we're going to discuss about. Then only we'll jump to the topic, that is compression mold technique and injection mold technique. For now, we'll stop this here. I want everyone to switch on your camera so that I want to talk to you. This is becoming only one way. Right? I don't know whether you are understanding or not. What's your view? Are you lost? You need to, if you want, if you need to revise everything again, we have not understood everything, we have understood everything, I don't know anything. So I want you to interact I want to interact with you. So please, what you can do is, right, when we are discussing, I think I have told this before also, whenever we're taking class, it does not need to be one way. Okay, only I speaking, going on and on and on. You might be understanding or not. I'll not know, and it's difficult time. Where if it was class, it would have been different. We will be interacting. Would have been interacting directly. And this